Yeah, good afternoon everyone. I think you are able to see the screen now.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so as Ankur had just set the context, saying like you need to see the approach for how to import or how to utilize the existing Excel-based test cases for generating the feature files as well as the BDD output using Cucumber, Selenium, and Java. So this is the sample that we are trying to import. So this is just a sample test case document with 5 to 6 test cases, and this document is having all the required details like test description, expected result, and everything. Now I'll go ahead and import this particular test case document. So in Confirmic, there is an option to import the Excel-based manual test cases. So I took that option, and let me take those test cases. So this is the set of test cases, and I just need to configure like from which column I have all the headings. So it automatically gets all the required columns like test number, test case name, step description, expected result, and everything. And here I am using the delimiters as double quotes just to make sure like if any input data or any expected results which are already there in the test cases, they can be parameterized here. So once I have set all these configurations here, I can click on this finish button, and quickly the test cases will be refactored and they will be converted into a model. So it is refactoring all the test cases and completed. If at all if there are any duplicate test cases in the model, right? These duplicate test cases will be completely deleted. So, but in this case, I do not have any duplicate test cases. That's why you see there is a message called reduction in the test cases 0%. Now, once the model is successfully created, okay, you can quickly see the model here. So it has all the test cases that are imported in the form of a visual representation. Yeah. So now you can see.
Arjun, sorry.
Yeah.
Arjun, Ankur here. So whatever came as 0%, so the tool automatically checks that there are no duplications and tells that there are no duplications.
Exactly. No, we are not running anything independently here. So the tool has the capability to identify any of the duplicate test cases, and if it finds any duplicate test cases, it removes the duplicate one. So finally, whatever the test cases are, the flows that we have in the model are completely unique.
And what is the unique it will use the test case number, or how it will identify that these are not duplicated? So what will be the unique value that it generally considers? Or it reads through all the test cases?
Yeah, it reads through all the test cases and test steps here, and while creating this kind of a model or a flow chart, it tries to compare the test step with each and every test step in the other test cases, and if the sequence of the test steps is matching with any of the other test cases exactly, then it identifies that as a duplicate test case. Even if there is a small change in the data element also, the test case is going to be different. But if the data is also the same and the step is also the same, in that case it is going to delete the test case, marking it as a obsolete one.
Okay, got it. Good.
And while creating a model, it uses a technique called NLP just to name these flows. You can see here, this test case is talking about, clicking on the register link, and this test case or this flow is talking about login, and the other flow is talking about the go to admin. So these values will be derived from the test case name, so that the user who is using these models will be easily able to understand like what is the flow that I am referring to. Okay, So once the test cases are imported and created a model like this, my next step would be just to generate the test cases to make sure like I have all the unique test cases and all the model which is automatically created is without any issues. So I'm just loading the model and say generate the test cases. So loading model is just to make sure like the model is correct or not. Generate the test cases will generate the test cases from the flows which are already created. Now it is going to create 5 different test cases for me, and I can see or I can review those test cases in this particular view. So one test case is talking about clean database, and you can see the clean database test case is highlighted. So this is a quicker way to review whether I got all the required test cases or not. And register with empty fields. Yeah, you can see this is the registration flow, and after the registration you can see multiple flows out of here. So this is the registration with empty fields and this is with invalid fields. This way I can quickly review the test cases itself. Now once my review is also successful and made sure like it is working fine, my next step would be go ahead and convert or export this particular model into a BDD framework output. Now I can add the respective plugin, or rather we call it as scripters here. So there are some scripters which are default available here like Excel or Selenium or UFT. But as a case in point for this discussion, I take this Cucumber Selenium Java scripter. Okay, so this particular Selenium Java scripter will help to convert this entire model and publish the output in a Cucumber format here. So I am selecting that particular scripter here. Yeah, Cucumber Selenium Java scripter. So once I add the respective plugin here, my next step would be say export the test cases. Now when I click on export test cases, whatever the flows that I have created, right, those flows will be quickly converted into respective feature files, and then the runner files, all the step definitions, everything will be automatically generated in a framework here. So we are following a basic framework and the output will be in compliance with that particular framework. Having said that, if TCS is using a separate framework or the respective project is expecting the Cucumber framework, Cucumber output in a respective framework, we can customize this plugin so that the output can be in your own respective format. Okay, now this is how the output looks like. This is the framework here. So quickly, it gives me multiple folders here. So in one of the output would be the feature files. Okay, let me go to another editor where I can see these feature files in a clear-cut details. Right. So I'm just opening these feature files in an Edit Plus just to make us understand. Yeah, now you can see there are 5 test cases, rather 5 scenarios have been created as an output from the model. So you can see all the 5 scenarios published as a feature file here. So first scenario, you can see it here, and you can observe whatever the output or input parameters that the steps are having. So you can see like this is a when statement wherein I am using this particular URL as an input, and in some of the conditions I am setting the data also within the test step, like set first name field, username as T, this one, password, and this is the confirmation password. And in some of the cases my expected results is also having a parameter which is an output. So that is where wherever I have mentioned the test data or the results with parameterized, you can see the respective thing is also parameterized in a double quotes here. So in this case, I just published my output saying like, okay, I want all the scenarios to be part of one feature file. But before I export it to the feature files itself or the output, I have some configurations here where I have an option to choose whether I wanted to merge all the scenarios into one single feature file, or I can have multiple feature files for multiple scenarios. So that's again a configurable option. Now, along with this feature files, there are few more outputs published as part of the output. One is like step definitions. So this is how the step definitions looks like. Okay. So these are the step definitions for all the steps that are there in the model or in the test cases. And along with this, it provides few much information like listeners and then the runner files also. So this is the runner file where you can configure some of the information here. And along with this, okay, it of course it provides the page object details for each and every step here. So for example, so this is where we need to configure the locator types and the details of the locator types. So that means the output is a base Cucumber framework. I mean, once this framework is published, right, the automation engineer needs to spend some time in identifying the actual objects in the real-time application along with the locator types, and then he need to update these locator type IDs properties, and then the suite can be imported into any of the Eclipse environments or any execution platforms, and then take it towards the execution here. Okay, so along with this, we are providing few more utilities like Selenium functions, where we have some more functions which are already implemented to navigate to them, and some very generic functions just to like launch the application and all those things, which you can start continuing. Yeah, so we are providing few more functions to capture the execution start time, execution end time, and all the few more functions here. Yeah.
These are all for basic navigation and basic widgets handling. As it comes by default, okay, we have not expanded into too much of framework functions. Probably around 20-25 basic widgets handling.
Any questions so far? I'm sorry, I cannot hear the question completely.
Yeah, if possible, can you show one node with any of these built-in statements, like how it is getting interpreted?
Okay. Yeah, just give me a minute. So Eclipse on a project open list సరిపోతుంది కదా. So I'm opening another sample project which is already in the execution environment. So I'll just open that specific project, and probably I'll be able to explain you like how these are integrated with all the interfaces and everything.
Like, can you just help us to understand your Cucumber Selenium frameworks, how they are, and do you use any utilities, and okay, how is your structure?
So, Ranga, in the meantime, just wanted to understand, like, any existing Selenium automation framework is already in place for you or for this particular opportunity?
Hi, Arjun. As per the discussions with the Priyank, what we understand is Maxis is having a BDD automation framework. We have not seen that because it's in the initial stage, and what we actually got the request from Maxis is to actually have any utility or accelerator which will convert the manual test cases to BDD. They actually are moving away from UMT.
Okay.
They actually have developed this BDD framework.
Okay.
We are trying to see whether perform for this requirement.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, so this is the feature file here, and when you come to this particular feature file, you can go to the step definition of this particular step. Okay, and yeah, okay. You can see the step definitions here, where we have implemented those things. So this is a sample project that we already implemented with the actual object details and everything, and here you will be able to see, like, what is the locator ID I'm using, and what is the actual details, I mean the object names and everything.
Arjun, Rajesh here. What I was asking is, like, if you could just open the Excel that you kind of used to import the test cases, and then through which you created the model. Like, if you could interpret one step, how that particular one step is getting converted into a node in your model, and then again how that particular node is getting converted into a BDD statement. So if you could just show for any one test case, the entire flow, that will be helpful.
Okay, so if you can see this test case like a clean database, enter the URL, easy step description and expected result, right? So this is the starting step. For almost all the tests, enter URL is a starting step. So when we go to the model, this is in the model, right, in Conformic there are two diagrams. One is the activity diagram, another is the structure diagram. Activity diagram is nothing but a flow chart. So you can ignore this first statement, first activity. It is only creating some kind of condition so that you get back the original test cases. But now this is the most important one, starting point, open URL, right? And after open URL, you can see various possibilities of paths. As open URL is always the beginning, so just after init, okay, if you ignore this, this is a starting activity, okay? And in this activity, there are two custom actions. One is input custom action, another is a verification action or output custom action. So enter URL string, okay, enter URL with this parameter name is converted to enter URL custom action, okay. That's why you can see there is a value, okay, has been set, okay, with this custom action. And verify parabank welcome also. This verify parabank welcome page shows. So this is for verification custom action, right? So these are the two custom actions formed this open URL activity. So if you want to see the custom actions or a structure diagram contains these methods, or these are the custom actions. If you look at this, this is the custom action. So these are all little building blocks initially created out for every statement, and in the activity diagram they are arranged in a flow chart. You understood until this point?
Yeah.
Now I'll go to another statement and then you can understand further.
Is it Arjun
This is Kalyan here. It's a Kalyan here. Yeah.
Kalyan, why is validation? Yeah. So once that URL is set, then it will go to the decision points, right? The decision points for what? The next actions?
Yes. The decisions are always done for two purposes. One is for a different statements or for different data sets. So if you look at it, clean database immediately shows that it should go to click admin page. Create user goes to set first name. Click register link. So you see here every test case, here it is open new account. So open new account, click register link, click admin page link. These are the three variation points engine has identified. So after the launching URL, it has three deviations. Of course, fourth one, which is the end one. So go to admin, or click admin page hyperlink, set username to Taluri, and click register link. So this is how it has identified. And if you want to find out here, after clicking register, for different values of setting first name, username, last name, all for registration purposes, it has different data sets. So it has created a separate activities for that. There is one small mistake, yeah.
So the thing is, I have a little bit of confusion here because it is taking the whole sheet and taking into the different test cases, or it is going row by row.
No, it will take the whole Excel sheet. I'll show you something much more better.
So the guys in the college is taking the deviation. Please let me know so that I will talk to him offline.
It is Excel sheet.
I have one question here. This is Bhavna here.
$dollar with quotation.
So this model and this BDD output is driven by the test case input sheet. So suppose if it is again that this is an existing project where test cases are available. But what if it is a new project right from scratch? We do not have test cases. We have only requirements. So I wanted to know how we will approach that using this tool to get the BDD output.
See, we have multiple options. Cucumber integration with Conformic is not only with the legacy assets, our legacy test cases, 2 models, 2 automation scripts. You can even create a fresh model here. In Creator or Conformic Creator, you can create a beautiful model with the look and feel of the application or with the business process flows. Then with this Cucumber scripter, you will get automatically the scripts. So legacy test cases is not important, it's not mandatory. That is one of the acceleration. when I have a lot of test cases, okay, instead of losing them, okay, you import them and then convert to feature files. This time, from manual test cases, it not only gives feature files, it will give all the step definitions, low-level implementation code and everything. And when it comes to legacy, you have the advantage. It will do optimization and everything. So if you want to start from scratch, okay, Conformic is best actually, even compared to legacy. In legacy, you know, you have to do some kind of like a model correction and all.
In Scratch also, I need to develop a model, then it will give me a BDD output. So to develop a model, how long will it take?
Definitely,
With the time frame.
okay, it depends on the scope. Okay, so like instead of manual test cases, do you have any feature files your BS provides?
I have only requirements with
Okay, fantastic.
written in simple English.
Okay, in that case, you know.
So I just want those requirements to be fed into the tool.
Okay.
And it should give me a BDD output.
Fantastic, fantastic. See, if you have a plain requirements, okay, based on the understanding of the application, you can create a model very easily. I'm not sure whether you have gone through Conformic functionalities. See, the structure diagram is the real, okay, building blocks of the model. So you have this kind of a custom actions, okay, like click register link. These are all like custom action based actions. So it's like a parameters, okay. You create a function name and parameters. This is one way of representing the building blocks. Or otherwise, you can even create a building blocks using the mock-up user interface. So you can depict the user interface look and feel, screen, forms, buttons, okay, all the links and combo boxes, radio buttons, labels, HTML links, images. So with this, you can create a mock-up. So once you have these kind of building blocks are ready, you can start creating an activity diagram, which is nothing but a sequence of the actions. In this case, this entire, both the structure diagram and activity diagrams are automatically created for you because the interface is the Excel sheet, or you are taking input as an Excel sheet. But if you have only requirements, okay, you have to manually create this structure diagram and activity diagram manually. And there is one more thing I want to tell you. If you are already having an application, okay, you can use some scanners like UFT scanner, okay, like using that object spy, you get a object repository, right? So you can import that object repository so that the structure diagram can be automatically created. So that is one advantage.
These are UML-based concepts, right? So we should know the unified modeling language.
No, we don't need, actually as a tester, we don't need to really understand all of that, okay? We just need to know, okay, like what are all the building blocks, what are all my interfaces, or what I can say, the look and feel of the application, or some kind of like a batch functions. Like typically automation engineer creates reusable functions, right? So that is the kind of functions here. Or otherwise, the look and feel. Both of them can be utilized. Probably, you know, like we can have one detailed demo for you.
No, Kalyan, I guess we can think of it now.
Yeah.
Have the information with us.
So probably you can think up with Rajesh and Gayatri. So they will be able to provide more inputs about. We already did this exercise. In fact, for another customer, in fact, Arjun provided the support. In fact, we created from the requirements, we are able to generate the model. Actually, the model creation has taken almost a day, actually, 8 hours. But we are able to generate around 196 test cases of the model. So we will discuss this offline, actually. The idea is what Conformic is providing is, if actually it is a greenfield project, like what Arjun explained, So where there are no test cases, you can start with a model that is actually confirming you as a structure diagram and activity diagram as the basic building block. Structure diagram is nothing but your no user wireframe. So it's like a end user screen actually. Your e-screen, login screen, registration screen. In that way, that is actually mapped to the structure diagram. And confirming you provides a way to create your activity diagram. Activity diagram is nothing but a flow chart. So from actually the structure diagram, you will be able to show the way actually, because you can see the structure diagram inputs. Based on that, you can generate your activity diagram that actually will create a flow. And based on the NLP, in fact, you are highlighting the NLP. Based on that NLP, natural language processing, it actually will check for the keywords. And based on that, the manual test cases will be generated in an optimized way. Currently, it actually has two optimization algorithms. One is pairwise optimization algorithm, another is all combinations. But all combinations is not the recommended one, so we can pick up pairwise algorithm. And it also will give the traceability from your requirements to test cases. So that's the way confirming to works. And in case actually we already have test cases, we wanted to do a reverse engineering, means the test cases will suppose I have 50,000 test cases. Whether I want to do the optimization or not, I can actually use the reverse engineering feature of some vehicle and then generate the models out of the manual test cases. And from the models, I can actually generate either UFT test cases, manual test cases plus UFT test cases, or manual test cases with Selenium test cases, manual test cases with the BDD test cases. That's the way actually you can generate. So in this example, our requirement is to convert the manual test cases to BDD automation scripts. So he actually has taken Parabank the test cases. From the 5 test cases, he generated the structure diagrams and activity diagrams. From the diagrams, he actually has used the scripting backend. So it actually has multiple options. Using that, he converted to Cucumber Selenium BDD automation framework script, Bhavana. That's what we have seen in the
Sure, Bala. Thank you, Bala. Sure, definitely. Yes, this looks good, and the structure diagram and the activity diagram are part of the true-level concept.
Yes.
So I thought that is being applied here. Yeah.
No, you are really correct.
Okay.
Actually, there's a few questions actually.
Yes.
So the template that you are using, right, that the Excel, okay, when you are importing that Excel from the Excel sheet, okay, I guess the system might be looking something in the same template, right? Or can be an
Actually, that's why we created the wizard there. Okay, in the wizard, you have an option to map the columns. Go to import. Okay, and one more thing, these Excel importers we can create as many as you want. Okay, because it is just a plain reading of that Excel. Imagine, okay, in your Excel, instead of these 5 columns, okay, instead of these 5 columns, imagine you have many columns. So we are asking you to map it. So for a test number, you can choose your own column if you want. But
got it. So, and another thing is how you are actually, finalizing this kind of action, like whether it is action on an expression, combo box, and all those questions.
okay, see, we have not yet gone into that extent. In the modeling, if you see, we didn't create a structure diagram with the UI actions. It is a custom actions. Because, just based on a natural description, it is very, very difficult to identify something is a text box or a link and all. So we are not creating UI actions when we do this kind of a natural text processing. It's all plain custom actions. We know that from the Excel sheet, this is the parameter. Thanks to the delimiter code, we are able to identify the parameters. That's the thing we are doing, and we are leveraging custom actions maximum. out of the structure diagram concept.
Okay. So even if in case if the test step is specifically calling out saying okay select source the value from drop down.
Yeah.
Even in that case also we'll just find normal text field kind of thing only in model, right?
Okay, see that's where we are really doing. I'll tell you one important secret here. In the model, we are keeping the natural text as it is. Say click register link on welcome page. Ideally, if I do natural language processing, I can find out that because there is a page word, it is a welcome screen, and because it's a welcome screen, okay, in the welcome screen, as it is a link, I can put a register, okay. I can really do this kind of reverse engineering and create a screen welcome and okay link register. But there will be a lot of issues like that. That's why we did not take risk here in the model. But when we convert into automation, in the Cucumber Selenium JavaScript, we have really identified, okay, we could find out that this is a link, okay, this is a click. So we are able to create automation code to match that literally. So you can see here our step definitions. Literally, it is identifying, okay, the automation code for this purpose. You see here, it is literally launching click element, okay, this is like click clean, this is a click element function, and even it is saying that, okay, the object is declared in this kind of interface, okay, or in the page object model like this, and this is the possible, okay, XPath or possible ID. So we are able to create that kind of a thing by processing the natural text at the automation creation level. We did not take risk at the model level because the model is much more prone to failure.
Based on the experience, how much is the accuracy of this model? The model which is automatically generating by confirm IQ.
This model is absolutely correct. Okay, you never have to even touch. Import, it is ready to be retest generated, ready to be exported into automation code, or ready to be published to any other environment you wish. The model creation is just one click, no rework at all. But when it comes to automation,
I understand model creation is happening because since we are using the natural language processing, but there will be a chances of accuracy level or chances of error as well. So that's what I'm asking, how much is the accuracy level of your NLP model which was implemented by Confirm IQ?
These models are absolutely fine. We have imported more than 250 test cases like that at one shot. So the input test cases and the model is absolutely fine. But where you can see errors is in the generated automation code. The moment we create step definitions like this, okay, and the pages are created like this. See here, this ideally, this is the wrong screen, right? Okay, ideally it should be a clean link, right? So this is wrong. These object IDs are wrong. Automation code, especially elements, will be error prone. And for example, this one, okay, register link. This is also link can be error prone. Okay, register link. Okay, it says this is register. Probably it may work, but many of the objects are error prone. So you will have to look at those. And there is one more thing here. When you say manual test case, enter first name, last name, and blah blah blah. This entire sequence of steps. This is correct. But imagine if the manual test case is not so great, not so detailed, and if there are some intermediate steps missed in the manual test case. In that case, you will end up modifying these automation functions. So the step definition is also little bit of error prone. Ideally, the feature files are not at all error prone because these feature files are coming from exactly the manual steps. The feature files are supposed to be at a high level, as you know.
Okay. So is there any other mechanism to validate your input test cases are 100% perfect before getting into this model?
What we do is we really find out, okay, if the test case are duplicates or subtests, but we never do functional validation at all. It's only pure English language validations.
Oh, okay.
Because whatever you give is what we take. We don't know.
Okay. So there is an opportunity that we need to bring an intelligence of functionality as well, right?
Yeah, I mean like, okay, when we identify URLs, go and scan the application and recheck the manual test case, then it may work. Or look for some document, we don't know.
But there is one more option actually, because while Ankur is giving some context setting, I understand that there are some manual test cases with the client, and there are existing UFT artifacts also, right, for the same test cases? Ankur?
Is it a question for me?
Yeah.
In fact, this is Bala. What I understand is they actually are migrating UFT scripts, but what the requirement is not to migrate UFT scripts to BDD scripts.
No.
Test cases to BDD scripts.
Yeah. Why I am saying this, Bala? Because see, anyway, they have the UFT object repositories, right? So we can import the UFT object repositories so that the structure diagram is very much like an application, and then we can draw the activity diagrams, and whatever the output we get in the BDD, that will have the flush also. Then there is no chance of missing any element or missing any object. So that is one more way to generate a foolproof BDD scripts without missing any objects.
Can you show QTP object?
Yeah. You got my point, Bala.
Kalyan and Arjun, but the point is that when UFT scripts are not updated, we also don't have idea like what the user is asking. Depends on actually the manual test cases. So we have to do profiling. That the test steps are detailed out, because what make you take that's what the question from Rajesh also. So if actually you mention register and not register link, it also doesn't understand. It will simply convert that as a string object only.
Right.
Instead of a link object.
Right.
Probably we have to fix it in the automation step definition method also. Whatever the manual step which is not corrected, it has to be corrected in the automation script also. So what actually we have to do in this kind of this, since it is converting in bulk number of manual test cases, we have to first do a profiling of manual test cases to ensure all the test scripts are properly written. Maybe review or some intelligent mechanism. We have to do that before taking it up with confirming. That's what the discussion is.
Right, Bala.
I have one question. Can we convert feature file? Like I have the test cases in the feature file format. Okay. So can I convert that into models here, or the test cases have to be in that Excel format?
No. See, Confirmic is having a lot of import options here. So one of the option is like importing the Excel-based manual test cases. Another option is if the test cases are maintaining in QCALM, be it in a test plan format or be it in a BPTs or BPCs also it can convert. And we have one more option to import the feature files. So a feature file is nothing but a regular way of writing a scenario with simple when and then statements along with the data elements as well. So if I have a feature file with all the when and then statements, and sometimes we may have to have the data table also built in the scenario itself. So if that is the case also, I can import my feature file to create this kind of a model. Probably if you have Yeah, I think we have 10 more minutes. I can quickly show you how to import these feature files also. So this is a sample structure of the feature file where you can see I have all my when and then statements, and I have parameterized the data for a few of the elements like URL, SKU, quantity, and the results as well. Now I'll go ahead and import the same feature file here into the creator tool. Okay, so I'll take this option and alright, so when I select the respective feature file and say finish, the same way it refactors the entire Excel test suite, right? The same feature file will also be quickly refactored, and you can see the model generated here. Yeah, and however it is reading the test steps like input statements and expected results, right? The same way it understands when statement as an input statement and then statement as a verification point. And in the same way it takes the URL, whatever that data that I have mentioned this as a parameter, right? It takes that as a parameter here, and you will be able to change the data as and when you want. And you can see there are the same step has been taken with multiple data sets here. This is one data set, this is another, and the third one is this. And the same data sets being validated here at this point, and you can see multiple outputs from the same, after validation saying this is a successful scenario, this is the SKU validation, and this is the quantity validation. However, I have mentioned in my model, based on the output, it is creating this kind of a test here. So now, if you look at the scenario, right? So though it is a single scenario, there are 3 data sets here. So obviously, I am expecting 3 different test cases from here. So quickly, I'll remove the existing test cases and say load the model, and of course, the procedure will remain the same. Load the model and generate the test cases. And once the test cases are generated, quickly you can review the test cases, and the same set of test cases also can be quickly converted to the BDD framework as well. Yeah, now you can see this is how you can review the test cases. All the 3 different test conditions or test cases, and you can quickly export it to the Cucumber format to get the output in a Cucumber Selenium Java format. And of course, in this case also you will get all the feature files, step definitions, and everything. The output remains the same, but the only difference is like whether the input is from an Excel sheet or from a feature file. That's the only difference. The rest of the procedure is completely the same.
Kalyan, I have one question. Usually the developers know they'll be using other modeling tools such as the RSA, Rational Software Architect and all. So can we import those model-based diagrams into this and convert to test cases?
It was like more.
Does it support the RSA?
Yes, technically it supports. We supported RSA and Enterprise Architect, Visio, and many more tools. But Aries, Commodore, there are multiple tools. But thing is that those content are not at all relevant for testing. Mostly architects and software developers and all. So for testing, we don't use it. Our test models, in UML, there is one concept called a test model, like architecture model, implementation model, business model, use case model, like that. We have something called a test model. That is what we are drawing here. The test models are very abstract, like few building blocks, and you arrange them in a flow chart without any intelligence in those building blocks.
Okay.
So test models are very lightweight.
It is possible, right? Can you show one? Okay. Can you show one example where an RSA model is imported here and you are generating another model with 10 cases?
No, right now, it's been a quite old technologies actually. We used to have it like, okay, 4 or 5 years ago, I think they're still in very prototypes, and because as they're technically irrelevant, see, the moment you bring in white box content to testing, it's completely useless and it becomes white box testing, right? We're at a very black box and acceptance, test cases level.
Okay.
So you need.
Model is actually black box. Yes, correct.
Absolutely, because we are testers and we should only look at not even system integration testing. We should be more at black box functional level and as well as end-to-end.
System testing as well as UAT.
That's why we focus on UI-based models, business process models, or activity flow charts. We don't go below that line at all. I think, when you touch the modeling once, you will really understand. I mean, like, we do come from the UML background only, okay? But we need to let them go actually. They are not useful for testing.
Okay. Okay. So this one we have seen for UI-based application. Do you have any functionality for API testing as well or mobile testing?
That's what we have shown you, like those custom actions are something for anything not representable in UI or web services. We have 3 kinds of building blocks: UI building blocks, custom actions, and web services building blocks. So if you have digital files, SOAP, okay, JSONs, RAMLs, WADLs, all of these you can import into Conforming. They'll become web services building blocks. That is another way of like representing. So our backend functions, database functions, file functions, these are all the things like even manual test cases functions, we never know, right? So for them what we call the custom actions. Custom action is nothing but anything which cannot be represented as a UI or web services. So once you have these 3 sets of building blocks, you can go and create any flowchart you want.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So once we created these building blocks for the web services thing, right? We can export that to a SOAP UI format where you can take the XML for the execution as well.
Okay.
So any other questions from the team? Ankur, Bala, Rajesh.
I think Arjun Kalyan, thanks for this demo. We got the idea. Actually, the manual test cases can be converted into BDD automation scripts, mainly the Cucumber Java based automation scripts.
Yeah.
We'll take it up with the Maxis. I think you and Segami are with the call. We'll actually get few test cases from Maxis, and then maybe we can actually do a small pilot. I'm not sure whether it can be done outside Maxis, or we can actually do inside Maxis. We will disable the preempt, and then take Conforming to team support, do this POC, Ankur.
Okay. Sure. We will have a discussion with Priyank also, because he met the customer at I think he has already put a request that to share some cases. So I don't know the update.
There are two. Arjun mentioned actually there are two actually possibilities. That's what Arjun explained. One actually is plain vanilla manual test cases. Second one is if they already have UOP scripts which they also want to migrate to BDD scripts. So that also would help actually, because we can take both and try to see how it will we also don't know at this point in time. It depends on actually the way how manual test cases are structured. As profiling is important. And the UFT test cases, if they are also not maintained, then additional steps have to be implemented. Ankur, yeah. So probably we'll take it up with Priyank and now we'll proceed with the next steps.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Arjun and Kalyan. Thank you for your time. Actually, it was a very insightful session. We really got lots of information, and we'll actually take your support to leverage this tool for Maxis and other threats.
Sure, Bala. Anytime.
Thank you so much. Many
Thank
good
you.
questions actually. Very good questions.
Thanks for your time. Thank you, Ankur.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye bye.
Thanks, sir.
ఎవరు చాలా మంచి క్వశ్చన్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఎవరు బాగా క్వశ్చన్